You ever walk into a room and feel like everyone else knows something you do? Like they're speaking a language you were never taught, one made of glances, half smiles, folded arms, raised eyebrows, while you stand there rehearsing words that never land the way you hope they will. You tell yourself you're smart enough, you work hard enough, you're good enough. So why does it feel like you're invisible when it matters most? Why do you leave conversations replaying every awkward pause, every time you laughed when you didn't get the joke, every time you nodded along when deep down you knew you didn't belong? We spend years learning facts, theories, strategies, yet no one teaches us the real skill that opens doors and keeps them open: how to read people. Not their resumes, not their titles, but the flicker in their eyes when they disagree, the tension in their voice when they're lying, the way they lean in when they trust you. Tiny signals that decide whether you win the room or disappear into its walls. What if you could see what no one says out loud? What if you could walk into any meeting, any date, any negotiation and feel 10 steps ahead? Not because you're manipulative, but because you finally understand the unspoken rules everyone else is quietly obeying. This isn't mind-reading magic. This is the art you were never shown, the power you were told was reserved for the charismatic few. Today, we're tearing that lie apart. Because once you learn to read minds, you'll never have to beg for a seat at the table again. You'll build it yourself. You wonder why you keep replaying those moments when your words fall flat, why you lie awake at night dissecting every awkward silence, every polite nod that felt like a dismissal you didn't deserve. You've got the degrees, the skills, the drive. So why does it feel like you're invisible the second the real game begins? It's because no one tells you the truth. Life isn't just about what you know, it's about who sees you, who listens when you speak, who feels you when you enter a room. And right now, if you're honest, half the time you feel like people don't. They hear you, sure. They reply, they smile, they shake your hand. But underneath, you feel that gap, the disconnect between your intention and what lands. And that quiet frustration eats at you every time you watch someone else, someone maybe less qualified, less prepared, step in and effortlessly take the space that you know could have been yours. Think about how often this happens. In the middle of a meeting where you have an idea that could shift the whole project, but you bite your tongue because the timing feels off or you're afraid they won't get it. Or when you're trying to pitch yourself to a client, a boss, a room full of strangers, and you feel your voice get tight, your confidence slip because you can't read their faces fast enough to know if they're with you or quietly drifting away. Or maybe it's not work. Maybe it's every time you stand at a party, drink in hand, smiling but secretly scanning the room, wondering how some people float from one conversation to the next, instantly magnetic, while you stay stuck replaying the same small talk that never leads anywhere real. This is what no one tells you. Social intelligence is the secret thread that ties everything together: your career, your relationships, your sense of self-worth. It's not luck. It's not charm you're born with or some extrovert gene you missed out on. It's a real skill. And right now, if you feel stuck, it's because that skill has been left to chance for too long. Maybe no one taught you how to read the room when you were young. Maybe you were told to focus on grades, on logic, on being right. But the world doesn't reward the one who's just right. It rewards the one who knows how to make people feel heard while they're being right. That's what makes someone memorable. That's what makes doors open that stay closed for everyone else. You've probably felt this gap before but didn't know what to call it. That hollow moment when you sense people nodding but not absorbing. The drained feeling after another day of meetings that felt productive on paper, but left you wondering if anyone actually saw what you brought to the table. The quiet envy when you see someone else, maybe a friend, a coworker who isn't smarter than you, not more talented than you, but somehow they make people lean in, make people trust, make people say yes before the conversation even ends. You stand there wondering, what is it they see that I do? Here's the hard truth. They see the unspoken. They see the glance that says I'm with you and the one that says I'm checked out. They feel when to press and when to pause. They know that people rarely tell the full truth with words, so they learn to catch it everywhere else. And you can too. You don't have to stay stuck on the outside of conversations that drain you, teams that overlook you, relationships that never break the surface. But first you have to see it for what it really is. Not your fault, not your ceiling, just an untrained skill. And the moment you decide to train it, everything you want that felt out of reach starts to feel possible again. That's the door you're standing in front of right now. And you get to decide if you'll walk through it or spend another year waiting for someone else to open it for you. No one tells you how much power you lose by trusting only what people say out loud. We're raised to believe communication is words, persuasion is clever lines, influence is all about talking more or talking louder. But underneath every conversation is the real exchange, the silent deal happening in micro-expressions, shifts in posture, pauses that last just a heartbeat longer than they should. And that's where most people lose the game before they even know they're playing it. Think back to every moment you walked away thinking, did I say too much? Did I say too little? Did they even hear me? It's not that you didn't speak clearly, it's that you didn't see clearly. Because no one trains you to notice that when someone folds their arms, they're not just cold, they're guarding something. That when someone laughs too fast, they're covering tension. That when someone nods too often, they're agreeing with their lips but not with their gut. We assume people are honest just because they're polite. We assume we're connecting because they smile. But people lie with smiles every day. They protect themselves with polite laughter. They disappear behind agreeable words because it's easier than being real. So why do we miss it? Because our own blind spots get in the way. We're busy managing how we come across, so busy planning our next line that we don't catch the signal telling us stop here, dig here, hold here. We drown out the subtle cues with our own noise. The anxiety that makes us talk too fast, the insecurity that makes us say yes when we want to say no, the habit of filling silence because silence feels like failure. We walk into rooms armored with stale habits, over-explaining, overthinking, overselling, and we walk out wondering why no one really listened. Worse, we tell ourselves it's just our personality. I'm not a people person. I'm shy. I'm not charismatic like them. But that's the lie that keeps you stuck, because science proves your brain was built for this. Deep in your wiring are ancient tools for reading people. Your amygdala that scans for threat or trust in a half-second blink. Your mirror neurons that echo the feelings you see in someone else's eyes. Your prefrontal cortex that weighs all these signals and decides how you respond. These aren't fancy theories. They're hardwired survival tools sharpened over thousands of years, tools you carry whether you use them or not. But here's the problem: life taught you to ignore them, to trust only logic, to dismiss your gut when you sense someone's hiding something, to stick to your script when your instincts beg you to pivot. Because pivoting is uncomfortable. Trusting your read is scary. We'd rather stick with words. Words feel safe. But the irony is, the more you cling to words alone, the less power your words actually have. So if you've been waiting for a sign to break this loop, here it is. Your instincts aren't broken. They're underused. They're buried under layers of bad advice. Just be confident, just be outgoing, just talk more. You don't need to talk more. You need to see more. The person who sees more always holds the real power. Because when you see what's behind the smile, the nod, the silence, you don't force your way through people. You guide them, you earn trust without begging for it. You influence without domination. The best part? You don't need to become someone you're not. You don't have to fake extraversion or force charm that feels hollow. You just have to remember what your brain already knows: how to read people the way it was designed to. Because once you do that, the mask drops, yours and theirs. And what's left is the only real advantage that lasts. They feel you see them, and in a world starved for that, you become unforgettable. So how do you take that buried instinct, that ancient radar humming under all your clever words, and turn it into your strongest advantage? You don't need 1,000 hacks or manipulative scripts that make you feel fake the second you open your mouth. You need a simple practice, one that strips away your old habits and teaches your mind to see the truth behind the noise. And it starts with 3 moves you can use anywhere: in a boardroom, on a date, in line at a coffee shop when a stranger tells you more with their eyes than they do with their mouth. First, switch from talking to tracking. Every conversation you enter from now on, think of yourself as a detective, not a performer. Instead of rehearsing your next clever point, watch what's happening in real time. Listen for the gaps between sentences. Notice how someone's shoulders drop when they feel understood. Catch the flicker in their eyes when you hit a nerve they didn't expect. Most people barrel through moments like this, too busy proving themselves. But the real win is in the pause. When you notice what someone's guarding, you get the map to where trust actually lives. Second, manage your own leaks. Social intelligence isn't just about seeing others. It's about controlling what you're unconsciously broadcasting. When you're nervous, your words might sound confident, but your body betrays you. Tight shoulders, restless hands, eyes that dart away. When you're trying too hard to please, your laugh is too loud, your agreement too quick. The fix isn't to mask it, it's to master it. Notice when your tone speeds up or your voice tightens. Breathe slower. Speak 1 beat lower. Let silence be part of your power, not something you rush to fill. People feel energy before they process logic. If your presence is calm, you instantly change the temperature of the room. Third, become a mirror by choice, not accident. When you sense tension, soften your posture. When someone leans back, give them space instead of pushing your point. When they lean in, match that energy with warmth and openness. This isn't mimicry, it's resonance. We trust people who feel like us, who read the mood without making it about them. If you can mirror someone's emotional state with honesty, you disarm defensiveness and invite them deeper into the real conversation that's waiting under the surface chatter. This is not theory you file away and forget. This is practice. Pick one conversation today, just one, and flip the switch. Maybe it's your next Zoom call, maybe it's the chat with the barista who looks exhausted behind the counter. Listen for what they're not saying. Hold your own space while you read theirs. Respond in a way that makes them tilt their head and think, "How did you see that?" That tiny moment is the crack where real connection breathes. The beauty is this isn't something you do once and check off your list. Every day is a new test, a new room, a new person who's desperate. Yes, desperate, to feel seen beneath their polite lines and everyday masks. Most people won't bother. They'll keep chasing the surface, collecting contacts instead of trust, followers instead of loyalty. You don't need to be most people. You can be the person who reads minds without manipulation, wins hearts without pretending, and builds real advantage not by pushing harder but by seeing clearer. You don't need another degree. You don't need a louder voice. You just need to remember what you were born with, the instinct to read, the courage to respond, the calm to hold what others miss. That's how doors open. That's how rooms remember you. That's how you walk out never wondering, did they get me? Because you know you got them first. Picture this. You're sitting across from your boss, the one who never really looks up from his phone when you speak. You're pitching an idea you've spent weeks refining. You start your first sentence and you catch it. A flicker of annoyance in the corner of his mouth, the way his thumb pauses mid-scroll. You would have pushed through, talked faster, filled the awkward gap with extra facts and numbers to prove your worth. But not this time. This time you pause, you lean back. You ask him a question instead, something simple that pulls him back into the room. Is this the angle you had in mind, or is there something we should shift before I go deeper? He looks up, actually looks at you. The phone goes face down. You didn't push harder, you read the tension and redirected it. In that tiny moment, you flipped control without force. That's social intelligence in motion. Or imagine this. You're out with someone you care about, maybe your partner, maybe your closest friend. They're telling you everything's fine, work's fine, life's fine, they're fine. But their shoulders are turned away, their smile feels half. Their eyes never land on yours. This is the real art of winning people, without force, without slick tricks that make you feel slimy. It's about catching the glance, the breath, the shift in someone's chair that says, "I don't trust this yet," and meeting it head-on with your presence instead of your performance. It's about turning everyday moments into openings for something real. Because the person who can read what's unsaid becomes the person people lean on when it matters most. Picture the compounding effect of this. One conversation today where you catch what no one else does. One meeting tomorrow where you ask the question no one else dares to ask. One chance next week to hold your silence long enough for the truth to crawl out of someone's carefully built armor. This is how you build a reputation you don't have to fake. The calm in the room, the trusted ear, the mind that cuts through noise because you see what others skim past. Most people will never do this. They'll keep filling space with words and wonder why connection slips through their fingers. But you won't. Because once you taste what it's like to read minds and win hearts for real, you can't go back to shallow, small talk that dies the moment you walk away. You'll crave this deeper level like oxygen, and so will the people lucky enough to sit across from you. And that's the secret no one writes on a resume, but everyone remembers when they say, "I don't know what it is about them. I just trust them." So now it's your turn. This isn't just another idea to nod at and forget when you shut this off. This is the moment you test what you know you've been missing. You don't need a stage or a spotlight. You don't need permission from anyone. You need one conversation, one ordinary moment where you flip the script you've been stuck in for too long. Start with the next person you see, your coworker walking past your desk, your kid asking you something you usually half listen to, the barista whose name you never really remember. Slow down, look up. When they speak, don't just wait for your turn to respond. Hunt for the line they don't say out loud. Is there a tiny pause when they say they're fine? Is there a tight laugh when they say they've got it handled? Is there an unspoken question in their eyes when they look at you like they want to trust you, but they're not sure if you're really here? When you spot it, just stay. Don't rush in with advice. Don't fill the silence with nervous chatter. Hold the space. Ask the simplest, softest question. Are you sure? Or tell me more. Or nothing at all, just your eyes telling them, I see you. It's safe to be real here. Most people have never felt that. You will be amazed at what they hand you when they sense you're really listening. And here's the secret. The more you do this, the more your own mind changes shape. You'll catch yourself softening your shoulders in tense meetings instead of bracing. You'll notice when your voice wants to climb higher to please, and you'll anchor it low and steady instead. You'll hold eye contact a fraction longer when someone tries to hide behind words. It's not about being some mind-reading superhero. It's about proving to yourself you're not just a passive echo of the room anymore. You're the calm point that people orbit, the presence that invites truth, the ear that hears the thing behind the thing. You'll test this at work when a heated conversation sparks. Instead of defending your point like you used to, you'll catch the flicker of doubt in the other person's tone and say, "Wait, what's underneath that?" Watch what happens next. Walls drop. The real conversation begins. Test it at home tonight. When your partner or your kid or your friend says they're tired or busy or fine, lean in instead of backing off. Let your stillness do what your words can't. This is how you build the muscle, one moment, one room, one unspoken truth at a time. And if your old habits sneak up, and they will, don't shame yourself for slipping back into autopilot. Just catch it faster next time. Stay curious longer. Silence the itch to fill the air. There's no magic switch. There's only practice, but practice makes presence. And presence wins hearts long after clever words are forgotten. Read minds, win hearts, do it today. Do it when no one notices. Do it so well that one day people can't quite explain why they trust you more than the next person. They just know they do. And it all starts with one small risk. Seeing what's real and having the courage to stay there when everyone else runs. One day you'll stand in a room. Maybe it's a boardroom, maybe it's your own kitchen, maybe it's somewhere small and ordinary that suddenly feels different, and you'll feel it. That shift, that quiet knowing that you no longer walk through conversations like a ghost hoping to be heard. You'll feel how you listen now, really listen, how you hold space like it's a gift you give and get at the same time. You'll see it on people's faces, too. The way they lean closer, the way they relax when they talk to you, the way they share things they'd normally guard like secrets. And you'll remember this moment right now, when you decided you were done playing small in rooms you were always meant to own. Your future self will thank you for every awkward pause you chose to hold, for every truth you coaxed out with nothing but your presence, for every time you wanted to interrupt but stayed silent and let someone find the words they didn't even know they had. You'll thank yourself for choosing real connection over empty performance, because by then it won't just be something you do, it will be who you are. The person people trust when the stakes are high, the calm in the middle of the storm, the one they remember not for being the loudest voice, but for being the safest place. You won't need to convince people you understand them. They'll feel it before you say a word. They'll feel it in the way you ask a question no one else dares to ask, in the way you pause just long enough for them to spill what they'd usually swallow, in the way your eyes don't flinch when the truth gets uncomfortable. They'll trust you because you trained yourself to see them when most people only see themselves. So if you doubt yourself tomorrow, when the old habits tug at you to keep it surface level, to smile and nod and say fine when you're not, remember this. You are already rewriting how you show up in the world. You are learning to read the unsaid, to answer what's hidden, to hold what's heavy. That's rare. That's power no degree, no title, no badge can buy. One day your future self will whisper back through time to remind you. Every room you ever walked into was waiting for you to bring this version of you. The one who reads minds gently, who wins hearts honestly,